Good morning. So what we're going to be doing now, in order to have the fundamentals of Talmud, it is very essential, important to go through different sugyot, through different subjects in the Talmud. And as we cover the subjects in the Talmud, we're going to study about these subjects. We're not going to do your typical just taking a page of Gemara, going through the Gemara, question, answer, going through this subject, that subject. That is going to be reserved to the next class with Rabbi Menachem, which will be teaching you Masechet Rosh Hashanah as a preparation with the idea in mind that we come to Rosh Hashanah with Masechet Rosh Hashanah, right? Especially now in this time, we need to prepare ourselves for the new year. What we're going to be doing here is that we're going to be taking a subject in Gemara. We're going to be exploring different places in the Gemara. It speaks about this. So like this, you can develop your mind and understand when we say, for example, Migu, Apeshe Asar, or Ne'emanut, what does it mean, trust? Right away, you're going to have this concept. It's going to be clear in your mind. Okay? I welcome your questions. And we're going to go through this process together, Bezat Hashem. We have 30 such shiurim, which have been developed by Rabbi Binyamin Biton in his Talmud La'am. Okay, so we're just going to start. We're going to actually start from the beginning, the first page 3. What exactly are these shiurim? How are they made? Mitkonet vesignon at the bottom of the page, Odot shiurim. Those who have difficulty learning Hebrew, reading Hebrew, I would advise you to follow with your finger in order to get used to the words, especially when they don't have nekudot, when they don't have vowels. מתכונת וסגנון השיעורים מתייחדים בכך שמשלבים בחד דיון תלמודי עיוני עשיר בלול מיסודות. On one hand, we're going to be taking a subject matter that is very rich, and at the same time, we're going to be able to learn some foundations of fundamentals of the Talmud. Chakirot v'darkei limud, we're going to learn about different discussions and at the same time how to learn. I want to tell you this is something very important. Unfortunately, in the first kitot, in the first grades, we are learned this. After that, many times it's forgotten, which means darkei alimut. There's not only the study of Torah, there's the way to study that's a part of Torah as well. Because we don't want to fool ourselves and think we understand something. Sometimes you will be in a yeshiva and it's going to start speaking about this subject and bring this subject, it brings you to this subject and that subject, and you think, wow, so much. But at the end, you have nothing in your hand. The purpose is that we want to go out of this series with something in your hand that is solid, that's true, that's real. Okay? So, what we're going to do is the following. We start. חקירות ודרכי ומידות, תוך שימת דגש על הצעת דברים במרצה בצורה מונגשת בסדר ובראייה. מראה מקומות, הטקסטים של המקורות העיקריים לנושא השיעור. Instead of bringing you the whole page of the Talmud, we're going to bring just the text that is necessary. I want to tell you, this is a big mistake a lot of times. You go in a yeshiva and you get very, very discouraged and confused because so much on the page. When there's so much on the page, you start getting confused and and you're going in all directions. Sometimes it's important to just focus on what you need to focus in order to build up a way of limud, a way of study, a methodology of study. Is that a new student in the yeshiva? Okay, so that we want to take this step by step, and then we're going to take the classic sugyot. Sugya is subject. The subjects which are classic that have to do with monetary, financial issues. okay? Because this is something that really makes a person's mind sharp, and it's going to bring you an analysis that you will be able to study the Talmud. Rabbi, I think, ça va être jusqu'à... Il est quelle heure là?
Là, il est 9h30.
Ok, ça va me prendre un peu plus que... Ok, peut-être. D'accord. So, Mare Mekomot, so we said this. Tablaot, at the end of every subject, you're going to have a box, a tabla,
Square?
no, you know, with the...
Table.
A table, basically a table with the different conclusions, so like things will be clear. Iyunim v'achavot, we will be able to go deeper and make some comparisons as well, and we're going to learn about the different books, about the different books that we learn from, right? A part of it that's very, very important, very exciting for us is that we want to be able at the same time to find out who are the people talking. We have Tanaim, which are the authors of the Mishnah. We have Amoraim, which are the authors of the Gemara. We have Rashi, which is a commentary on the Gemara. We have Tosfot, which is a commentary on Rashi and the Gemara. You have the Marsha, which is a commentary on the Gemara that comes much later, and so on and so forth. So we want to find out at the same time, we want to make this an exciting experience. We want to find out who are we talking about, right? You know, if you're sitting with somebody and you say, oh, this is the rabbi that established, for example, this law that we do every day. Says, oh, okay, I didn't know it was Hillel Hazaken, or I didn't know it was Shammai. What are they arguing about? Why do they argue? And so on and so forth. Maaseh Rav, yeah, Lekach Tov. So, and we're going to try out of every lesson to take something out for us personally in our personal lives. So like this, it doesn't stay just learning which is dry. Okay, we're going to start our subject today. I'm going to make you repeat certain concepts, just like you have it in your mind. We're going to learn about Migu. Repeat after me.
Migu.
Migu. Where do you go? Migu.
Migu.
Okay.
Migu, you go.
So, Baal Din atoen ta'ana mesuyemet bebed din. You have a person that goes to the bed din and he starts arguing. Ne'eman rak betnai she'uchal le'ochiach u'le'amet et ta'anato. When am I believed if I go to court? Let's say I'm going to court against my good friend Nir. Well, we were good friends till Nir did what he did in the business. I don't want to say what he did or what he did not to do. We made a business matter. Actually, it's possible that Nir, I borrowed money from Nir, right? And we're going to see exactly what the story is. And we have an argument. So we're going to go to the Bedin. But in order, let's say that Nir says, the rabbi owes me $1,000, right? Let's say he would have the chutzpah to do that, right? I would have the synagogue, the guys of the synagogue take care of him. He wouldn't look so good anymore, right? So what happens if he comes and says the rabbi owes me $1,000 to the Bedin? Says, okay, what do we need? A proof. Bring me a proof. תהליך זה המתבצע על ידי הדיינים הוא תהליך מורכב. This is not a simple thing to be able to establish that what he's saying is true, that I believe him because he has a nice face. ומבוסס על דינים ומושגים רבים שמקורם בסוגיות התלמוד העוסקות בדיני הממונות. Therefore, there is a certain established rules in financial matters on how to establish the truth of something. אחת הדרכים וההוכחות לאמת טענתו של הבעל דין, one of the way to be able to say that what he is saying is true, אולי החזקה מכולם מבחינה חוקת התורה היא עדותם של שני עדים כשרים. What is it that's the strongest thing that's going to validate what he's saying that it's true? It's going to be if he has two witnesses. Right? Imagine Nir came and we were at Harbor Grill. And I told him, Nir, it's true I just paid $400 for my steak, right? And I had another guest, so it cost me about $1,000 right now. Can I borrow $1,000? Says, what do you mean? You want to borrow $1,000 from me? Okay, but we have to make a contract. We don't borrow money like this. The Chachamim said that if you borrow money without a contract, it's not honorable. Okay, we do a contract. But the contract, what does the contract do? It's a piece of paper. Excuse me, Shlomo, Michael, come here. We're not family? No, we're not family. Okay, your kosher witnesses, you keep Shabbat, and yes, no problem. Okay, so sign here that Nir lent the rabbi $1,000. So now we have a contract, this is very solid because we have an edut. I just want to mention a parenthesis. One of the commentaries says something extraordinary. He says, why does it say in the Torah, Al pi shenaim edim yakum davar? Think about it. The Torah says that a testimonial is only when you have two witnesses. Why? What do you think? Why not three? Why not one?
No, three.
Correct. But why two? Why not one?
It's harder to say a lie.
It's harder to say a lie if you're two.
Has to be consistent.
Why? So there's a concept very interesting. One of the commentaries says that everybody, we're all different. We're all different. Because we're all different, we perceive things in a different way. Therefore, if two people are going to perceive things in the same way, that already is tremendous. It's enough to be able to establish that it's true. You understand?
So there's a new month. Two people have to take them apart.
Correct. Every type of testimonial, whether it's for the new month, whether it's for a contract, whether it's for wedding.
But it can't be son and father. For
It
example.
cannot be father and son.
Why?
Why can't? Oh, it says that krovim psulim, because once you are close in family or you have any type of closeness whatsoever, right? At this moment, you are biased. You're not going to. It's possible that you're going to naturally follow the other. It's not. You're not going to rely on yourself completely. You have to have two independent, and that's the strength of edut, of testimonial. By the way.
And Sherim is Shomer Mitzvot?
Ksherim, they have to be kosher. And what's very important is that what's very important in edut like for example, before I do a wedding, I take witnesses. Many times it's going to happen that, a guy says, no, I have my good friend. Okay, is he Shomer Shabbat? Yeah, he's Shomer Shabbat. So I ask right away, is he married? No, he's not married. Okay, does he shave? Okay, yes, he shaves. But does he shave with a blade or does he shave with a machine? Right? And then I ask, does he wear a kippah all the time? Not everybody can be a witness. You don't know exactly what's happening with a person. You really need to establish that he's completely kosher. So in general, we leave the rabbi to be the one that's going to choose the witnesses to make sure that the marriage is correct. Another thing we do, believe it or not, is that we ask the witnesses to be meharher b'tshuva. Before they do the testimonial, we ask them, please try to do tshuva in your mind. Because sometimes it's possible we did something that makes us not kosher for a witness. It doesn't matter. We have people with a beard and whatever. Right? There's a whole list in the Rambam, in the laws of testimonials that make a kosher witness or not a kosher witness. So when you are chosen to be a witness at a wedding, for example, imagine that the whole wedding depends on you. Not on anything else. It's not the ketubah, it's not even the rabbi. It depends on the two witnesses. If the two witnesses are not kosher, and we have a situation, and many times rabbis, for example, you have a wedding, and you have a woman that there was a situation, God forbid she lost her husband at the war. but we don't have any proof. We didn't see the dead body. He never came back. Okay?
Aguna.
Huh?
Aguna.
An aguna, right? An aguna. So one day there was this woman. She came to there was a great Kabbalist in the city, and she went to see the Kabbalist because her husband disappeared already a year. The Kabbalist, he didn't look at women. He says, "Give me the name." He looks at the name. Says, "Your husband is going to come back in a year from now." A year passed. A year and a half passed. The husband didn't come back. So they said, "Let's go to the rabbi of the city." He's not a Kabbalist, but maybe The rabbi of the city looks at her and everything. He says, "Look, I don't think your husband's coming back." So the Shamash asked, "I don't know. The Kabbalist, he knew when he's coming back. You say he's never coming back. How come?" He says, "I saw her. I'm telling you, she's not coming back." I'm just showing him. It's a joke. That was a little milta de bdichuta. Sometimes we could laugh a little. Okay.
The witnesses of the wedding.
So one second. So what there's going to be a situation is that sometimes, let's say, so now this woman is Hashem Yerachem, 25 years old. She's going to stay the rest of her life bound that she can't get married. So one of the experts in this was the Tzemach Tzedek. The Tzemach Tzedek used to know how to be able to find loopholes and everything and so on and so forth. Another one in our generation was Chacham Ovadia Yosef Zecher Tzadik Livracha. He was very, he would cry and spend hours to find ways to be able to be matir et ha'aguna.
From the walls.
Right? From the words, from the
war.
Yeah, from the war and from the witnesses and everything. So let's say you find out afterwards, yes, this witness was good, but at the moment that he signed, he wasn't really so religious. They just took him at the last minute. He wasn't looking at the ring, and so on. And then we could free this woman and say the wedding she had in the first place was never a wedding. So now she can get married to somebody else. So you understand how strong it is. There's a woman right now, I have a few cases like this, weddings that I did, and in general I try to be very careful, and the husband doesn't want to give a get, he doesn't want to give a divorce. And now it's been for 6 years.
Wow.
She's a young lady. And the husband is a hot-headed, I don't want to say what, right?
We can beat him up after a while.
And we tried to find every way in the contract. I used good it's my fault. I used good witnesses. So now we can't liberate her. We can't liberate this thing. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, if the witnesses can be related to the groom and the bride.
No, absolutely not. They cannot be related to the groom and the bride at all. Okay, so we see here that witnesses are what establishes a contract to be something super solid. That's the biggest. אם בעל דין יכול להביא עדים שיעידו ויעמתו את טענתו, הרי בעל הדין נאמן. If the person is going to bring me, we said Nir is going to bring me to Beit Din, and he has 2 witnesses, then he is believed. כמו כן במצאים ותנאים מסוימים ניתן לבעל הדין להישבע ובכך להוכיח ולמד טענתו. There's another way that we can believe Nir if he swears. We don't swear in vain. It says that at the moment that God said, look inside, Shmi Lashav, it says in the Rambam, in Chot Shvuot, in Sefer Afla'ah, that the moment that God said, do not pronounce my name in vain, the whole earth started trembling. And it says, concerning all the sins, that God forgives you. But concerning the sin of swearing in vain, Lo Yinakeh, Hashem is going to the using Hashem's name to swear is something that is punishable in the most terrible way. And therefore, we say, one second, I don't have a contract, and he swears that, are you ready to swear? So many people will say, no, I'm not going to swear.
What if 2 swords?
So one second, so if he is going to swear, in certain cases we're going to believe him, Even though we don't have because we don't have a valid contract, so he's going to swear. And if he's accepting to swear, so sometimes he is going to have to swear. Sometimes I'm going to have to swear. We don't know it. According to the different cases, we're going to establish that in that specific way. Okay? Let's continue. השבועה אומנם אינן דבר של מה בכך ונעשה בה שימוש רק במצבים מסוימים. We only use this as a really, really last resource to make a person swear. בסדרה שלפנינו, in what we're learning right now, נעמוד על 3 מושגים בגדרי הנאמנות. We are going to be in this subject matter covering 3 subjects of trust. לפיהן ניתן יהיה במצבים שונים לאמת טענתו של בעל הדין. In these situations, in these 3 situations, we're going to be able to establish that Nir is right, which between us, he is not. But we're going to be able to establish that he is right. Okay? Anyways, I'm not going to make him feel bad, but we'll talk afterwards outside of the court. So number 1, we're going to be learning about what's called the Migu. Migu is, we're going to be speaking about it. This is the subject we're going to start with. Afterwards, we're going to talk about Hape she'asar, the mouth that has prohibited itself. And then the third situation is Hoda'at Ba'al Din, the confession of the actual person himself. 3 מושגים אלה נחשבים לדינים יסודיים בגדרי הנאמנות של בעל הדין. These are fundamental laws in trusting the Baal Din, in trusting the person that's coming to bring me to בית דין. ודיונים רבים מוקדשים בספרות התלמוד וההלכה לבאר אותם, and many how to call it, books and discussions discuss this. מטרת השיעורים שלפנינו היא להעניק הבנה יסודית כוללת ומעמיקה את כל אחד משלושת המושגים האלה. When you get out of this class, בעזרת השם, Benjamin, when you get out of this class, you can join us, בעזרת השם, every morning from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12 with your friends and bring them here to study in the kollel. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now. I'm not pushing. I'm not cornering you. You have nothing else to do. Come and study Torah. Now, the purpose is that you're going to get out of this. I want to tell you something that's terrible. Terrible in what we're saying. You have sometimes a bachur that's in yeshiva for 6 years, 7 years. You ask him, tell me right now in the clearest way, what is Migu? What is Hape she'asar? What is Hoda'at Ba'al Din? It's not going to be clear. The purpose is that after these classes, you'll be able to know, like a Rosh Yeshiva knows, in the clearest way, all these concepts, and you'll be able to explain them and give examples, and yourselves give a shiur in what we are learning now. That's where I would like everyone to be. Okay? I just want to tell you, we have 2 students here that are learned in real yeshivot, right, for a serious long time. Right, we have a new student to yeshiva, Baruch Hashem, that they just came back from Eretz Israel, so they know most of these concepts in and out. So I appreciate that you're here, and it's going to be very interesting to see how you kept this shiur, right? And afterwards, I'm going to ask you to help the other students when we do chazara. Chazara is very important. Chazara is reviewing your studies, right, in order to get things very, very, very straight and very clear. Okay, it says, our sages teach us, Kol halomed ve'eno chozer ke'ilu zorea ve'eno kotzer. A person that studies Torah and doesn't review is like somebody that put a seed in the ground, but he forgot to harvest it. Right? And the Reb Chaim of Brisk says on the pasuk of Shlomo HaMelech, it says like this, Lev Hacham Limino. On the right side, Shlomo HaMelech says you have the wise heart, which is the Yetzer Tov. On the left side, you have the foolish heart. Lev Ksi Lelismolo. So he says, what does that mean? He says, when you learn, there are people that learn, they want to go to the left. They want to finish. Oh, okay, I finished my Shas, I finished the Gemara. Very good. That's the full heart. The Chacham heart is, one second, review, go back. Did I really understand? Can I repeat it? Can I have it clear? Right? Then what's very, very important in learning Torah, and I'm going to tell you because I myself used to have a lot of anxiety when I was in yeshiva. A lot of anxiety. What was the anxiety? There was so much pressure that, oh, this one he knows the Shas, and this one he knows the Yerushalmi, and the other one he knows Tosfot. So you compare yourself and you think that you have to be like everybody else, and oh, if you're not that, you're nothing. So very quickly, okay, I finished this, let's go to the next thing. This is not a way of learning. Like this, you can spend years and know zero after you get out of yeshiva. And there's many, many, many students like this. You want to be the student that learns what you know, and you can say with confidence. If somebody asks you tomorrow, is a Migu like this or like that? Well, you can tell him, not only it's like this, you can even explain to him why it's like this and not like that. Your confidence, you're solid, you're grounded in what you know, right? And that's something that's very, very important. Okay, let's continue. So far we're good? Everybody is good. Very good. Okay. יצוין ויודגש כי למטרה זו נבחרו בקפדה נקודות נבחרות מתוך עשרות פרטים בדיונים שנדונו בכל אחד משלושת המושגים האלה. And that's why we chose specific subjects, specific marot, out of 10 subjects where you can find the concept of Migu or the concept of Pe'ah She'asar or Ne'eman or Da'at Be'al Din. It was chosen, handpicked. Ma'u Migu. What is a Migu? Or Migu. How do you say? Migu? Migu. Migu. It's not a word in Spanish. Migu. All right. If you don't like the class, it's Migu. Right? So.
Migo is in English.
Huh?
Migo is in English, in Spanish. Migo.
No, amigos de Biblia.
No, amigos in Spanish.
Amigo.
Okay. Anyways. Ma'u Migu. בשיעור זה הראשון נעמוד על ביאור המושג מיגו. מיגו הוא מילה, we're at the bottom of the page, on page 4. מיגו הוא מילה בשפה ארמית שפת התלמוד. It is in Aramaic, which is the language of the Talmud. תרגומם מילולי הוא מתוך, ומשמעותה מכיוון. מיגו means from, because of, right? Because he could have. Okay, that's what Migu means. So let's repeat that. Migu, because he could have. Okay? הביטוי מיגו הוא למעשה קיצור והתחלתו של משפט שלם שנשמע פחות או יותר כך. And this is actually a short version of a long sentence. מכיוון שכך וכך, because it was like this and like that. לכן מסתבר שבעל הדין דובר אמת. Because he said this and he did this and he did that, therefore we trust him that he's saying the truth.
It's simple.
Okay? It's very simple. We have a concept that we are actually going to believe this guy, Nir. Why? Because he said something. But he doesn't have a contract. That's good. He doesn't have 2 witnesses. So how can I trust this guy? You trust this guy? I don't know, honestly. But the teacher always has to have somebody to pick on.
That's fine.
Today you're the one picking on. It's not a problem. I wanted to remind you your youth, right? Your traumas. We'll be doing some trauma work. We have a psychologist here with us.
How does the court know he can make a stronger point?
So we're gonna get there. We're getting exactly in that direction. ותוכנו וסברה הגיונית. What is a Migu? It is a logic that's logical. סוג של ניתוח פסיכולוגי של בעל הדין. It's a psychological analysis of what the person that is the accuser, the demander in court, in the Bedin, is asking. אשר על פיו ניתן להוכיח ולאמת טענתו, and based on what he's saying, I can believe him. Because he said it that way. If he would have said it another way, I would not believe him. But because he said it that way, I can believe him. כאשר שמעון, for example, my friend Shimon here, טוען טענה מסוימת, he says, hey, something. אותה נקרא טענה א', he says, something, א'. והיה יכול לטעון טענה טובה יותר. And he could have said something better. He says an argument, and he could have said an argument which is much, 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 much better. Right? He could have said an argument which is much better. הרי במקרה זה יש לשמעון מיגו. What does Shimon have now? He has what's called the Migu. What does it mean, a Migu? Let's explain. כלומר, which means, מכיוון שהיה יכול לטעון טענה טובה יותר, because he could have brought a better argument, we turn the page to page 5, שבכוחה היה זוכה בדין בוודאות. He could have said an argument that for sure he would have won the argument. But he didn't. ובמקום זה הסתבך וטען טענה גרועה יותר. Instead, he gave a worse argument.
Not bad. Or
Weaker argument.
A weaker argument. A weaker argument. I'm sorry. אשר אינו בטוח שיכול לזכות בדין על פיה, that maybe it's not for sure he's going to win the argument by saying this. הרי זה סימן והוכחה שהוא דובר אמת. It's a sign that he's speaking the truth. Imagine you have a choice. Tzion. You have a choice. You're in Bedin and somebody accuses you of something. And you could have given a super argument that would just floor the person and show the Bedin that you're right. But instead, you gave a worst argument. That maybe you're going to win, maybe you're going to lose. The other argument that you would have said, you would have won for sure. What does that show me? It shows me that you're speaking the truth. Because why would you say a worst argument if you want to protect yourself?
if you want to lie, you like.
What?
If you want to lie, you make a good lie.
Exactly. If you want to lie, you could make a good lie. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you're saying something that's not so strong, it shows that what? That you're saying the truth. So here, in such a case, because of that logic, right? Because of that logic, I am going to believe you.
Is it the way he said it, like calmly, or
No,
what
no.
he said?
It's what he said.
What he said.
What he said. A person can say things with great excitement and it doesn't mean anything. Right? One day in the Bet Din in Yerushalayim, there was a lady, she had an issue with the husband, I don't know what, and she was crying and she was sad. The Bet Din, they have to be very logical and calm-minded. He said, the Bet Din, the Dayan, he was a little harsh. He said, Bchiyot, crying, bahutz, outside. Here, we're here to hear arguments. We're here to be logical. We're here to be cold judges just on facts. Emotions have nothing to do with this. He said it sweetly, he cried, he didn't cry, he started jumping up and down, and so, doesn't matter. All these things don't matter. So what are you saying? Does it have value or does it not have value? You understand? And therefore, we're not judging ourselves on the actual argument. So, שכן ההיגיון אומר, אילו היה שקרן, because the logic says that if he was a liar, הרי היה לו לבחור בשקר הטוב יותר. If he was lying, so give me a better lie. Why are you giving me a lower lie? To give me a small lie, you're about to lose $10,000. So we believe him on a lower lie, on lower argument. ואם כן, מזה שטען את הטענה הגרועה יותר, since he gave a worse, weaker argument, הרי זה סימן וראיה שהוא אומר אמת. From here, it's a sign that he's saying the truth. Did we understand the logic of Migu?
That means it's the other way around.
That what?
That since he said something a lot weaker than what he was supposed to say, then maybe is a shakran. If you have an
I
opportunity to
get
say the best ta'ana ever, and everyone will believe you, then why do you choose to say something a lot weaker? Is it because of Tmimut that we think, oh, he's humble? Like, what's the idea behind it?
So I'm going to tell you that your question is an excellent question, and we're going to deal with that. There's a Rosh Yeshiva that asks a type of question like what you asked. His name was Yehuda Eber, and we're going to get there. Okay, but that's very good. Excellent. By the way, if you could just very quickly just go around, introduce yourselves, just say your name.
Tal.
Yeah. Abraham?
Shimon.
Yaakov, Moshe.
Perfect.
Shimon.
But you know what? Shimon, everybody knows. כולם יודעים את שמעון.
100%. Why is that?
מחילה.
לא.
לא, כי אתה לא תלמיד, אתה... Okay. Anyways, you know what? Believe me, because I could have said... Migu. Okay. לדוגמה. Now we're going to give an example of this logic and methodology. Parua bemigo de mezuyaf. It was paid because he could have said the contract is a fake contract. דוגמה זו נחשבת לדוגמה טיפוסית ומוכרת בספרות התלמוד למושג המיגו. This concept is the classical example of amigo, right? Well, of course, because we didn't explain it. It's okay. He already wants to get his money back. Did you see how he's trying? He's trying. Near, calm down. Okay. Vehu ilu haya Shimon. I'm sorry. Im lemashal. So now this is very important. Moi, listen very carefully. Tovea Reuven and Shimon. Let's say I'm Reuven, okay? And this is Shimon. I come to Reuven, to Shimon. Tovea oto bechov shel $1,000. I tell you, hey Shimon, you owe me $1,000. בטענה שהלווה לו כסף ועדיין לא החזיר לו את ההלוואה. I come to you, correct? I come to you and I say to Shimon, Shimon, you owe me $1,000. Now, I don't have witnesses, okay, that he owes me $1,000. And you still didn't give me back my money. Shimon, it's been 10 months. ¿Qué pasó? So, ובתגובה טוען שמעון שאותה הייתה הלוואה, אך הוא כבר פרע לו את החוב. What does Shimon say? He says, yeah, of course I borrowed $1,000, but I paid you last month, right? May 1st, I already paid you. Okay. ובתגובה טוען שמעון שעומדה את ההלוואה, אך הוא כבר פרע לו את החוב. הרי במקרה שאין לראובן ראיה מוכחת על קיום ההלוואה, since I don't have in my hand a paper saying Shimon borrowed from me $1,000, ולדוגמה שהשטר מסמך ההלוואה שבידו אינו מאומת בבית דין, or I have a contract but the בית דין did not approve that this contract is a good contract, that the witnesses are good. By the way, one of the ways to see, there's 3 ways to see if the witnesses are good. Number 1, you have the actual witnesses there, right? Let's say Yosef and Yehuda are the witnesses on the contract. They come, I bring them, I say, this is a good contract. He says, yeah, these are our signatures. That's one way. Second way is that I take a contract that has already been approved by the Beit Din, and I compare this contract to this contract, and I look at the signatures, it's the same signatures. Now, this contract is a good contract, right? Yeah. The third is that the witnesses are there. So there's the Beit Din already has, it's been stamped by the Beit Din. The Beit Din has shown that this contract is good. It's been approved by the Beit Din. 2, the witnesses themselves come in person. 3, we compare it to another contract. So now, I have a contract, and I don't have something that's solid in the contract. Shimon, you owe me $1,000. What are you talking about? You're right, I owe you $1,000. I paid you last month. Okay. ובטעם שכזו הוא זוכה בדין בוודאו. I'm sorry. Let's continue. Yeah. הרי במקרה זה שמעון נאמן בכוח של מיגו. There I'm going to believe Shimon out of Migu. Stop. How? What could have Shimon said? Why do I believe Shimon? What could Shimon say that is stronger than saying, yes, I had a loan, I paid you? He could have said what? He could have said,
You never gave me money.
The contract is fake.
No, you
Like
never
the-
gave me money. I don't recall. What are you talking about? You gave me 500 or you gave me less.
okay. Or what you said, you could say this contract, it's not a true contract. The proof is you don't have a, it's not approved by the Bedin. And what would happen if Shimon would say to me, hey, say to the Bedin, the contract is a fake contract. Would he win or would I win?
You would win. You would win. Because he's trying to make up excuses.
No. I don't have a contract. I have a contract. It's not approved by the Bedin. I come with a contract that's not approved. Okay? We don't know if the witnesses are good. Am I coming with a strong position or not with a strong position?
Not the
You're
same.
not.
I don't have any strong position. What do I have in my hands? I have something, a piece of paper. That's all I have. I don't have a real contract. So now he is saying your contract is fake. If he would have said it's fake, would the Bedin believe him and give him the money?
No.
And
Because he's trying, he would say from the get-go he's trying to fool you. From the get-go he was trying to fool you in order for you not to have a nice contract, a right contract. So he knows that when he comes to transfer his money, he's going to say, your contract is not valid, so I'm not going to pay you.
okay, I'm going to say 1 second. I want to address what Moy is saying. He's saying that you know what, Shimon, right? He is
Crooked.
he is not from Tetuan. He is from Meknes. So he's from Meknes. He's going to find a way to make the contract that's no good. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that that is going to be a general rule, that in general the majority of people do such things, they do bad contracts?
Yes. The world is like this, unfortunately.
The majority of people.
100%. Today,
So
100%.
you,
No.
In my opinion, most people in the world that don't do business correctly. In my opinion.
I'm talking about a contract. 1 second. 1 second, Moi. There's 2 things here.
Okay.
I'm lending him the money. You think I'm going to let this guy give me a contract that's not going to be good and I'm not going to be able to collect my money?
How
Does
much
it make
you know?
sense that I'm going to do that? I'm going to lose $10,000? It doesn't make sense. So you have to say that the majority of cases, the contract is a good contract.
Right. Right.
If the contract is a good contract, so now I'm coming with a contract. So again, let's repeat the case. Shimon is going to say, your star, mezuyaf. It's a fake star. It's a fake contract. So is the Bedin going to believe him? If he said your contract is a fake contract, how many of you would say that the Bedin is going to believe him and say you don't have to pay Shai Amar $1,000? We believe you that the contract, everybody